The chief magistrate, Desmond Nair, has decided to grant bail for Olympic sprinter Oscar Pistorius pending his trial in the shooting death of Reva Steenkamp. Pistorius has been charged with one count of premeditated murder in the Valentine's Day shooting of his 29-year-old girlfriend model at his home. ESPN legal analyst Roger Cossack joins us now. And Roger, the chief magistrate took over an hour and 45 minutes before he made his decision. What do you make of this ruling?
Well, I think obviously this was something that had to be considered and took time. It's not surprising in light of the evidence the prosecution presented in that matter. In following it closely from here, they had serious problems, including not the least of which the head investigator got arrested for murder himself from something he had done 3 years ago, right in the middle of it, and while he was testified that he may have messed up in collecting the evidence and contaminated some of the evidence. So when you think about that, and then you think about what a magistrate is deciding here, whether or not Pistorius is a bail risk, and he pointed out, he said, look, this is a guy who's recognizable. He is going to be recognizable in the airport. He's recognizable because who he is, and because of the fact that he does have these blades that he's able to walk and run and accomplish so much on, and that makes him even more recognizable. He had to turn in his passport, and they just felt that in light of what the prosecution presented, that he was entitled to bail. They do not have the death penalty in South Africa. So that is another reason why he might be eligible for bail.
The bail is set at 1 million rand, which is about 113,000 U.S. dollars, 11,300 in cash. So you mentioned the head investigator and the issues that they are dealing with. Where else did the prosecution fail in their argument to keep Pistorius in jail pending the trial?
One of the problems that the prosecution has in this case, and I suppose it's a problem for the defense, but greater for the prosecution, is where the weapon was found. Pistorius's argument is that his girlfriend had arose in the middle of the night and was using the bathroom, and he did not know that, and so what he heard, he assumed was an intruder, and that's why he did what he did. But the argument is, where were the weapons found? Where was the weapon found? As well as some other evidence, and the prosecution claimed that it was found in a place that would indicate that where he says he shot and where he actually shot are two different places, and I think that's going to have to be explained. Now bail hearings in South Africa are mini trials, unlike in America. As you see what's going on, they go in a much greater depth as to what the evidence is than we do in bail hearings. Because we have a constitutional right to bail in America, and there is no constitutional right like we have in South Africa. So the prosecution is going to have to explain, as well as the defense, the positioning of the weapons and other evidence that they found in that room.
You make a reference to the weapon, a 9mm gun. Does this decision affect how both the prosecution and the defense move forward in such a highly publicized case in this country?
Well, yeah, I mean, there is going to be a trial. Now, also, one of the things we should note is that in South Africa, it's not a jury trial. It is a trial that the guilt or innocence is decided solely by a judge. There will be, he has, I think, what they call assistants, 2 or 3 that will help him or her in deciding guilt or innocence, but there's no jury trial like we have here in America. So both the prosecution and the defense will know who the judge is and will have, of course, tailor their arguments. But both sides have problems, and one of the major problems for the prosecution that came out just during the last 2 or 3 days is they have a serious issue as to whether or not evidence got contaminated and the investigation was done properly.